I remember watching Michael Jackson as a kid and and feeling something I didn't understand yet. Not even during the performances necessarily. It was the moments around them, behind the scenes footage, interviews, little clips where he wasn't fully on. I remember seeing him on Sesame Street. I remember replaying parts of the Thriller making of footage over and over again. I had the cassette tape as a kid. Thriller was really the version of Michael Jackson that got to me before I was even old enough to explain why. And what fascinated me wasn't just the performance, it was that he seemed strangely emotionally available. Uh, not guarded at all, not distant. There was something very immediate about him, and even as a child, something that felt open in a way most celebrities didn't. At the time, I didn't have language for it. I just knew I felt connected to him very, very quickly, and also protective of him too. Years later, I had almost the exact same reaction the first time I really watched Marilyn Monroe on screen. I'd already watched plenty of old films by that time. I loved silent films, and I loved classic Hollywood, mostly noir. But Marilyn Monroe, she felt different immediately. Not better, but closer. There was something about her presence that didn't feel projected outward towards the audience. It felt like you were watching someone respond in real time instead of deliver some kind of fixed performance. And I think audiences recognize that instinctively, even when they don't consciously understand what they're responding to. Marilyn Monroe couldn't repeat herself. On Some Like It Hot, simple scenes sometimes stretched into dozens of takes, not because she didn't know the lines, but because each time the camera rolled, something in her shifted. One take would be playful, one take maybe softer and more vulnerable, another take distant, almost unreachable. So directors saw it as inconsistency, but on camera it created something unusual. She didn't feel mechanical. She felt really alive. And Michael Jackson had something similar on stage. When I watched the Motown 25 performance of Billie Jean, right after the moonwalk, he pauses. Not because he forgot what came next, but because he's waiting for the crowd. And once the crowd reacts, his entire performance changes. The timing changes, the energy changes, and the next movement lands very differently because of what just happened in the room. He isn't just performing choreography. He's responding to the audience in real time. And I think that responsiveness is part of what audiences became attached to. Not perfection, but just pure responsiveness. Some performers stay essentially the same no matter where they are, and others don't. The room changes them, the audience changes them, and attention changes them. That can make someone incredibly compelling to watch because the performance never feels completely fixed. It feels alive while it's actually happening. But I also think it creates a certain kind of vulnerability because there's a very little distance between the performer and whatever environment they're standing inside. Hollywood repeatedly selects for this. The camera loves people who feel emotionally reachable. Not just beautiful, but reachable. That's part of why certain stars don't merely become famous. They become emotionally symbolic to people. Marilyn Monroe became more than an actress, and Michael Jackson, he became more than a performer. People felt connected to them in strangely personal ways, protective of them, and I think possessive of them, sometimes even angry at them. And I think that's because audiences react very strongly to people who don't seem fully defended from the world around them. What's interesting is that Marilyn Monroe and Michael Jackson adapted to pressure in opposite ways. Marilyn slowed down. The pressure of filming seemed to gradually make it harder for her to stabilize into performance. You can feel it in stories from later productions, the delays, the exhaustion, the difficulty repeating scenes clearly. There's a famous image of Marilyn Monroe retreating behind a dressing room doors while production waits outside. Not diva behavior exactly, more like withdrawal, like too much was reaching her all at once. Michael Jackson went the other way. He intensified. There's more rehearsals, more precision, more control. Stories from rehearsals often describe dancers and crew members exhausted, while Jackson keeps going, wanting another run through, another adjustment, another take. Not because he lacked discipline, but because motion itself seemed to become part of how he held everything together. Monroe retreated from pressure while Jackson accelerated into it. So different reactions, but the same underlying sensitivity. I think that's why certain stars remain haunting long after they're gone. Not all celebrities do this. Some remain distant no matter how famous they become. You admire them, but you never quite feel connected to them personally. Others feel strangely tied or woven into your life. Their voice was in your house, their face repeated through your childhood, their expressions became familiar in the same way ordinary memories do. And for certain performers, the boundary between public figure and emotional presence starts to blur. You know they weren't really part of your life, but emotionally they were. That's the strange part. Maybe that's part of what feels so strange about film in the first place. Certain people never entirely leave once they've been captured on screen. You can still meet them decades later, still feel connected to them. And I'm not sure human beings were ever really prepared for that psychologically. But that's probably a bigger field note for another night.